to make sure. Okay, so does anybody want to introduce Christy? You want me to
Go ahead, Karen.
So we are back with Onboarding 2.0 with our amazing, I cannot say enough about Christy and how much she is willing to share and how her business is booming. If you missed last week, of course, go back and review the first part. And this is the second part, just to ask questions. So we're chatting a little bit about the new Moss and Plum, and we'll individually, those of us who are leaders, let our teams know about that. But we really want to maximize our time with Christy today, and especially thank Christy for being here and being so true to our culture and so giving and thoughtful. So Christy, if you want to repeat what you just said, because we kind of transitioned into just a little chat time beforehand of what you would like this to be today, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. So I pretty much threw a ton of stuff at you guys last week. So what I did today is I didn't prepare to do any type of presentation. I literally just have a couple different devices up. So if you guys just want to fire questions at me, I can screen share if we need to. I can walk you through any of the questions that you have. And I pretty much just wanted to leave this Q&A as a way for you guys to fire at me. So does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Hi, Christy. Thank you for this. It's so great. I have looked at it a little bit, but listened to it. And I just wondered, how long have you been able to use this? What have you seen having used it? You know, what are your results? How is it helping you? And, you know, what do you think as far as implementing it, how fast we can really, you know, go with it?
So as far as the launch event goes, we've been using that. The first person that I used it on was my sister-in-law. Wasn't really even big into social media. Totally very meek, hates to talk to people, isn't a salesperson. She listened to everything that I had to say. So that how to work a launch event properly, that guide to working a launch event, she literally worked that specifically to a T, and she triple ranked within her first 2 weeks.
That's great.
Since we ran that event, Ashley Delph and I, over the last, I'd say, year and a half, have slowly perfected it over time, realized that there are things that weren't in it, tried to come up with different strategies as to what to post when, you know, and then Jamie introduced the masterclass. We originally had a live in there. Instead, it was like a live presentation instead of a masterclass. So Ashley Delph put together this amazing masterclass. And so we ended up replacing the live with the masterclass. And that sort of drew everything in. Like, I feel like that was like the missing piece of the puzzle. Now, as far as the checklist goes and actually getting your new ambassador into a three-way chat with you and your sponsor, that is something that we just started, I think about 6 months ago or so. And I think at this point, between Ashley and myself, she is, and the reason why I'm using her as an example, you guys, she's hitting 2x2 or 4x4 every month. She's hitting Power Seller. She's one of the people in my roots who's growing at rapid speeds. So I pretty much, what I did is, because she was always throwing me into chats, tried to duplicate the things that her and I were doing together. So what I did is I tried to replicate the steps that were happening within that three-way chat. And I'll tell you, Brittany Ray McMullen is here. I don't know if she's on the call. We did this with her. We launched her. She's hitting the leaderboards. every month. So it's been a slow process that we've been using for quite some time, but that we've perfected over time. And I'm sure that we'll still continue to perfect it. But that is where it all started.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Any questions? Just you can unmute yourself. It'll allow you guys to unmute. So while we're waiting for a question, so if you had someone who's been in the business for 2 years, I'm just kind of throwing things out there for people who've been on. And so you've been out doing this for about 2 years, or maybe even a year, or maybe 6 months, you're into this business or something, but you're like, oh, I didn't have the best start. Where would you recommend them to start their business? What would be a good place for them? What would you think would be a good start?
So honestly, I typically do this once a year anyways. Not necessarily at this time, but you guys, it's July. You could literally throw a launch event, like a Christmas in July launch event, and you could literally relaunch yourself right now by throwing one of those events with a masterclass. And I know that there are many of women within the organization that would love to hop on a masterclass and do a live with you guys. But that is honestly, I mean, you can skip the first, however many steps, but it's so easy to get back into it just by running a launch event within your own communities. I mean, you don't have to make it super complicated. If you're already running your own community, just run an event inside.
I love that. And maybe even like throwing in our new product line that we're launching this month as well, maybe in conjunction with that. That's awesome.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah. And you know what? Even in that launch event too, just so you guys know, there are Christmas graphics in there. They're not actually in the Visly app because we have the Visly downloaded right now for the times. But if you actually go in the Mock Party group, there are within the post. So if you follow the guides within the product post, like the introduction posts, there are graphics that say like, I don't even know what they are. They have like a seal, like a Santa stamped MIG seal of approval. They're super cute. Something you could totally use this month. So that would just be a matter of changing out like 4 graphics if you wanted to do like a Christmas in July.
It would be a great time for every leader to get with your sponsor, whoever you work with, and say, hey, let's just take our team through this. Let's just start and do a relaunch for everybody. This would be a perfect time for that.
Yeah. And you know what? There's one thing that I will tell you. We had one event where I think like 10 girls came on at the same time. And it was a huge, what did they name it? Rebels Against something. And it was featuring all 10 of the women. And we ran the typical event. And then when they did the masterclass, I believe Ashley stayed on as the host, and all of the girls were on standby with Facebook, because I don't know if you guys know this now, you can do dual Facebooks. Like you can have up to, I think, 6 people on a Facebook Live at one time. So you don't even have to use Zoom anymore. So if you're on, like, let's say I go live on Facebook and I see that 10 people are watching, I can invite those 10 people onto screen with me. So the way that Ashley had it laid out is she was the host of the masterclass. And what she did is she brought on all 10 of those women separately, one by one. So one would pop on, one would go off, one would pop on, one would go off. And she would just ask them to tell like a little bit about their story, like just a short little snippet. Because one thing that we have realized is, yes, big events work, but I feel like when you're inviting your people, they want to see your face. So it's so much more effective if you do a one-on-one masterclass versus trying to do something big. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just more personal. Like, we haven't been able to figure it out, but we think that it's like on more of a personal level to just do it one-on-one versus with like 10 different people. So we will keep you posted. I'm sure we'll do another with a big group of people, and maybe we can narrow it down to why it's more effective just one-on-one, but that's what we've noticed. And I don't know why.
I think it's less intimidating when if you have like 500 people, 1,000 people, or even like over 100 people. I think it's intimidating to want to speak in front of. It's that like stage fright of, oh my gosh. But when you have a small group, it's easier, I think, for people to have like a one-on-one conversation. And sometimes too, if you're asking them questions, you're prompting them to ask a question like, hey, Christy, tell me how you felt on the moss and plum on your skin or whatever. It's easier to ask the question. Someone can answer it without being so scripted. It sounds authentic as well. So that's a great point. Love that.
And you know what? We had a girl named Tabitha come on. It was a really sweet story. And it's actually the masterclass I think that I used as an example in that mock party. But, you know, we did our normal greenwashing, pay attention to the ingredients that you're putting on your skin, masterclass. And then at the very end, she told this just super amazing story about her daughter and how she has, I don't know if it's psoriasis or eczema or something on her hands. And you guys, the story was just so heartbreaking because her little girl had to wear gloves to school because the little kids would make fun of her. And she couldn't go on the monkey bars because of the gloves, because she couldn't grip. So like, she just felt like such an outcast at school. And within, I don't even know, like a week's time of using our body lotion, her hands cleared up and she was able to go to school for the first time not wearing gloves. And it was just the most like literally my hair standing up talking about this story. But it's like that just, you know, you think about it, she's on the screen, she's telling her own personal story. These are all of her friends. So not only is she bringing them value in that masterclass and teaching them all this amazing education that they might not have known, but she's telling her own personal story. And the majority of the people that are there attending this event and this masterclass are people that know her and they know her daughter and they know the things that she's went through. And at that point, they're like, I want to support you. Like, how can I support you? You know? So I just feel like it's very personal. You can make it so personal.
Yeah, because they already know, like, and probably trust that person. So it is just building that trust too, and hearing that story more from ourselves. Because a lot of times we're posting pictures and things on our group page, but it's not our own testimony. And if we had developed those own testimonies, even if they're not in a class or whatever, they're seeing our faces and not just, you know, Michelle from we don't know who.
Yeah.
So it's more powerful. Yeah.
Any other questions? As we just talked about, it's a small group right now, so don't feel nervous about asking questions. No question is a silly question. It's great to ask. You know.
Yeah, no question is a silly question. Seriously, you guys should hear some of the questions I've asked.
You know what?
I liked the part, and I have not been able to go through all of it or anything, but I've looked at it. I like the part where you're talking about how to get someone that's coming on board as a new ambassador to a certain level, like $875 a month or something. And, you know, you can't, and here's how to get there. And you really need to build a team to get past there. I think those are really good things for us to know ourselves, because I have not gotten there yet. And then, you know, how to lead them through that. I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, you can do your onboarding call and say, okay, you know, how much do you want to make? But you really do need to build a realistic foundation for somebody, because, you know, at the end of the day, if somebody's coming in here looking to make $2,500 a month, you know, you don't want them to bust their tail just working on getting clients, because, you know, realistically how much product they would have to, I mean, you could do it. I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but you would have to sell a lot in RSV in order to get there. What I tried to do, I feel like, is take every tiny little thing that I've come across at some point and put it on there. You know, even the tiniest little questions, you know, that way at the end of the day, you know, even when it comes down to what link do you use for what, you know, I can't tell you how many ambassadors, because if you pass someone your referral link, and I don't even know if half of you guys know this, you pass someone your referral link and they log in to their customer account and try to sign up as an ambassador, it will take them through the process, but they will not hit your back office as an ambassador. You then have to get on the phone with Hello and waste 48 hours of your time having Homestead fix all of these things so that ambassador finally shows up underneath, like on your tree. So I can't tell you how many times I have had to fix this to where I'm like, okay, I want to just be able to explain to everybody, this is the link you use for this, and this is the link that you use for this. That way you're not wasting your time where you could be making money. Instead, you're on the phone with, or, you know, on email with corporate for 2 days. So I literally tried to map out all of the things that I could possibly help you guys avoid so that you're spending your time wisely doing income producing activities versus trying to be a customer service person. You know, in addition to remembering all the things, because there's so much to remember. So much, too much, but it's all good stuff to remember, right?
And I think you've made it pretty exhaustive. Like this whole thing is like, it's all encompassing. So like you said, everybody's questions should be answered.
Yeah. And you know what, honestly, you guys, if you end up going through this checklist a couple times and you notice that you're pivoting and doing something that might not necessarily be on that checklist that is working, reach out to me. Because that checklist is not necessarily, I mean, I could have forgotten something. Or there might be something you guys are doing that we haven't tried yet, you know, that we can share or edit.
Things change. I mean, stuff changes. So.
I know. I'm thinking Moss and Plum just came out. Now I have to do something in the launch party. Now I gotta update that. No, I'm gonna have to update that too. But
here's the thing, that testimony of the woman with the girl who had to wear gloves to school.
Yeah.
You've got a very similar testimony that you can do in your masterclass about, I couldn't use it. It was setting my face on fire. This is, you know what I'm saying? So you've got that kind of testimony of that will appeal to people.
Yeah.
And Christy, that's the point of the whole fully activate you and you bringing this onboarding, is these are supposed to be living, kind of breathing, and, you know, it's a structure and it's a format, but each person and each ambassador needs to make it true to their own, you know, their own sphere, their own way that they speak to people. You know, you and I could present the exact same material. This is a framework until you get your own traction going. And that's what fully activate you is be able to contribute and come back. And that's why all of us are working together. But, you know, between Samantha, Jen, Beth, and myself, we present things just differently. But this is a uniform process by which you can customize to yourself. And it's supposed to be moving and breathing. And we've asked ambassadors a number of times, when you have something that works really well, contribute back and let your upline know, let your sponsor know, and we'll put that in the vault, in the training vault, or we'll have you come on and do one of these Tuesday lunch and learns. You know, we hope that there is in 2 to 3 months some follow-up that somebody comes back and says, I've had great success with it, and we can highlight them on a Tuesday lunch and learn, you know, and again, be able to thank you as well for providing the framework and everyone being able to customize it themselves.
Yeah. And you know what? Another piece of advice that I can give is, you know, you just mentioned, this is structure. This is just a way to structure everything, but that you have to come up with your own ways. So the best advice I can give to is, you know, I had one of my girls reach out to me this morning, and for example, she's talking to somebody at another company, a very dear friend of hers, and she doesn't know how to tell this girl that the stuff that she's so in love with is not good for her.
Toxic.
Yeah, it's toxic. But she's like, Christy, I don't want to come across the wrong way. I don't know how to talk to her without hurting her feelings. And I said, Mandy, you literally just told me how you should talk to her. Like, sometimes don't like overthink the things that you're doing. I said, the more relatable and honest and sincere, and the more that you're yourself and not trying to be somebody else, the more relatable you're going to be. Hey, guys, can you try to be quiet for a sec? Thank you. So I literally just said to her, reach out to her and say, it breaks my heart to tell you this. Like, I'm literally afraid to even bring this up to you, but this is what you're using. And I care about you, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way. And that's what it's all about, is just being yourself and not overthinking things. You know, like, people are asking, what script are you using for this? You know, don't use scripts. Just be yourself. Just be yourself, be authentic to what you're doing, wrap that into this whole entire training and make it you. And you guys, you're going to see fireworks. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever, the other thing I try to do too, I think that's awesome. And like, if ever, when people have used or they're stuck with something that they don't want to make a change with, I said, would you open, I just love your opinion. If you tried the products for a week, just like give them a couple samples of things, and just try and let me know your opinion. Just want to see what you think. And there's been people who are like, wow, okay, now that I've tried it for a week, I've seen a difference, or I feel different on my skin. Like what you were sharing with the products, you know, I think a lot of us, even those few days to a week, that could even change someone's mind. It's like, hey, listen, don't stop, you know, like stop for a week, but you know, I just want to get your opinion because I appreciate your opinion. I think all the world of you, all the things, you know, sometimes I'm just trying because I think they don't want to maybe buy it yet until they think, oh, maybe it really might change. Maybe it might be better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, Jen, side note, is that a bag of Arise behind you? Because I know that there are people who will break into your house to get that.
Yes, I have a couple of them because I buy them in bulk and
Okay,
I love them. And
Stephanie Miser is getting ready to message you, I feel sure. And
Yeah.
She's gonna ask your address. Do not tell her.
Elaine, are you shaking? Elaine, are you shaking your eyes too?
Oh, Elaine.
Okay, I stockpile Arise and I am still out for about, I didn't get out till about 2 weeks ago. I'm dying.
I'm not even gonna tell you how many bags I have
Shannon
like,
said, start the bidding.
I
I'm
have-
down like 7 bags, and Dan has 2, and he has to have it before he goes to work. We've been drinking a half a pack each a day. He only takes it on the 4 days that he works. Thank goodness he was off the last 2 weeks. Otherwise, we'd be out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a couple bags, and I love them. And they're just, there's days when I don't do my collagen and my coffee, and I'm like, I gotta go, and I just take my little. If you guys haven't bought these, you need to get them. These are the MIG like containers.
Yeah, they are good.
They're awesome. But yeah, sorry, Beth, you totally outed me, girl. You're in trouble.
I'm peeping your background.
Yeah.
I
Now
don't
you're
miss
gonna have
nothing.
to show up tomorrow with the blurred background.
When you see Stephanie come with a mustache and hat, you'll know it. You'll know it.
Exactly. I will be at your doorstep.
Oh, if you need me to send you a bag, I will. No, I love them because here's another thing too, is I sample those. Like I love the sticks. So I just like put it in my little sample thing and just like people are like, whoa, I love this. I feel great today and all the things. So I always stick those in a little, like when I have a thank you for someone. Also back there, I go to IKEA and I buy in bulk the little hand blenders, hand mixers for collagen. And if they don't have one of these little things, it's great just to blend with. You don't want to shake, but those are little things. Those things at IKEA, those hand blenders are $2, $1.98.
Little stand too. You got like a whole cute little setup over there.
It's like she's got a store.
I do. Well, I buy it like when I get stuff. And so product credits work. I'm just telling y'all, like with I could give 10, get 10. So I stock up. And then what we do as a team is we give away a product every month to customers. And here's what I'll tell you, quick little tip. Well, because this is going to be so insightful, this onboarding is I have 3 people who are like the last 2 that won the last 2 months of our little, like we give a soap bar away for anybody who's placed an order. They put in a little drawing and we spin a wheel and whoever gets it. So I've been sending them thank yous with the product and like some samples, and they're looking at the business. So I am going to need this onboarding because people are like, I love your products. And I just brought the conversation. Would you want to do this? And they're like, yeah, I'd love to do this. I'd love to make money and earn some product credits and all the things. So this is going to be huge and instrumental. So I can just walk them through these processes and how they can, earn back whatever they've invested. But that's good to have. Sorry. Thanks, Beth. I'm gonna have to pay you back one day.
Oh yeah. Hey, you won't see mine here. Mine's in my cabinet. I don't have any fancy display. I've probably got, I'd say I've got 7 or 8 collagens in there, and maybe 3/4 of a pack of Arise. So I sent some to Stephanie because I knew that they were having like withdrawals and I didn't want her to have to go to the hospital. So, but other than that, everybody's waiting. So anyway.
And we don't know when it's coming, guys. Just FYI, we have no clue. We keep asking and we still don't know.
Every day.
Yeah. So if someone sees it first that it's no longer pre-ordered, you need to let us all know. Just
order your 10 bags and then let everybody know. Go ahead.
And then if you don't know, tomorrow ambassadors can buy the Moss and Plum product line. I don't know if they'll put it on the website for just us, maybe hopefully just for us to purchase. And then the Friday, the 22nd will be the day customers can purchase.
Good. All right. So does anybody have any more questions?
Now, I cannot say thank you enough to Christy.
Nope. Great.
Thank you. Woo!
Yes.
You guys are very welcome.
Hard
Out
work.
there.
You're very welcome.
I have been girl crushing, but now I'm just even more so. And I would give you the biggest, fattest hug and kiss on the cheek if I could, because this is amazing.
Soon, just a few months.
I know, but I just cannot thank you enough.
You're welcome.
That is such a generous spirit. It kind of makes me, I think I'm pretty cold-hearted, but I just.
You are not.
I am. I have to be in my other business, but I would just tell you, it literally, it does. It makes me well up that you would be so incredibly, incredibly generous. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So I truly mean that. So I will end the call and our recording, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to share this with those who couldn't be on right at this time and get this out, and I will upload it as soon as I possibly can. Within the next 20 to 30 minutes, it will be in Fully Activate You, and we'll get that going. So thank you again, Christy. And again, refer to last week for part 1, and then implementation and questions for Onboarding 2.0 today. Ladies, have a fantastic day. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Oh, thank you. Great job, Christy.